Hi, my name is Jake, and I am a bookish drummer. So today's video is going to be my October TBR, MBR, whatever you want to call it. All of the books that I could potentially get to in the month of October during, of course, the Stephen King Readathon, which is a competitive points-based readathon that will take place on my Discord server in the month of October. And today, if this video comes out when it's supposed to, September 30th, today is the last day to go sign up to pick a team, because on October 1st, we will officially begin. So if you haven't already, go check out my Discord server and go pick a team, and it's going to be a lot of fun. But for today's video, I'm essentially just going to go over all of the books that I could potentially read. There are 19 prompts. I highly doubt I will get to 19 books in the month of October, but if I were to, these are the books that I could potentially read, and then some other alternative picks. I'm not going to necessarily say which prompts these books fit for, because I don't want to give away my strategy too much. You could probably look into what these books could fit for, and you might be able to, whatever. Let's without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into it. So first off, a couple of books that I don't own physically that I'm more than likely going to get to. One of them would be Mothered by Zoe Stage, which is actually her new book that's going to come out next year, but I have an ARC, an advanced reader copy. And this is going to be the first time that I actually get to read an ARC, so I'm very much looking forward to that. I'm going to be buddy reading it with a few people in October, so definitely looking forward to that. I'm also going to be listening to the audio of Gwendy's Final Task, which is written by Stephen King and Richard Chizmar. I'm a huge fan of Gwendy's Button Box, and I really did not like Gwendy's Magic Feather, which was solely written by Richard Chizmar, but I'm hoping that Gwendy's Final Task will be a bit better. I do know it has some Dark Tower connections, so hopefully that is good. I'm also going to be potentially listening to Playing Nice, which is a thriller that comes highly recommended from Stacy. This is one of the best thrillers that she's read this year, so I have it on audio, so maybe I can get to it, maybe not. There's also book 5 in Fred the Vampire Accountant. I'm blanking on the name for that one, but I could potentially listen to that on audio as well. Now for the rest of the books, I own them physically, so let's go ahead and jump right into that. Another option would be Nod by Adrienne Barnes, and this one is all about sleep deprivation, and basically, like, I think it's like 99.9% of the world all of a sudden can't sleep, and just going through the process of not being able to sleep for days and weeks. Sounds pretty interesting. It's also very short, so I'm definitely looking forward to this. I also picked up the audiobook, so it'll be a good immersion read. I also have The Broken Girls by Simone St. James. I always get her name wrong. But I have The Broken Girls. I've read The Sundown Motel, which I thought was very good. Not perfect. I gave it 4 stars. I'm very much looking forward to jumping into another one of her books to see if it also works for me. I've heard good things about both The Sundown Motel, which I liked, and The Broken Girls. So if I can get to it, if I have time, I'd love to read it. I also have The Exorcist's House by Nick Roberts. And this is a self-published horror book that came very highly recommended to one of my good friends, Sharon Dwyer. She read this and thought it was very creepy and very good. And it's also very short, with short chapters. So if I can get to it, that would be fantastic as well. I also have a few thrillers that come highly recommended to me from Stacy. One of her favorite authors of all time is one of her favorite authors of all time is Riley Sager. And one of her favorite books is The Last Time I Lied. And I also have the audio for this, so that would make for very good immersion reading. So hopefully, if I have time, I can get to this as well. I'm also very much looking forward to 3 Hours by Rosamund Lupton. Yeah, 3 Hours, I think, is about a school shooting, and it takes place in a 3-hour time span. She said this was very gripping and very tense at times, so definitely looking forward to that. Another thriller that I'm very excited to try to fit into one of these prompts is The Night Swim by Megan Golden, who is the author of The Escape Room, which I very much enjoyed, has one of my all-time favorite endings to a thriller. And the reason I'm interested in this one is because there's supposed to be a cool podcast element, which makes for a very good audio book. So I have the audio book. I think it's on Scribd, so that'll make for very good immersion reading as well. Very excited for this one. I also have Black Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse. I've been wanting to read this for a while, and Stacy wasn't a huge fan of this, but she did let me know like what prompt it could fit for. And it looks kind of chunky, but the words per page, like it's, here, I'll show you. Like the words are very big and the pages are very thick, so it looks longer than it actually is. It's not going to take me very long to read it. I'm very much excited to finally getting to this book and seeing what camp I fall under, whether I'm going to love it or whether I'm going to hate it. That'll be fun to get to. And just in case I get kind of swamped by reading all of these thrillers and horror books, I'm going to throw in some Taylor Jenkins Reid, Forever Interrupted. I think this is her very first published book, if I remember correctly. It's more on the contemporary romance side, which I don't know if I'm going to absolutely love this book, but it is Taylor Jenkins Reid, one of my all-time favorite authors, so I definitely want to give it a shot. All right, so those were all of the non-King books that I have physically that I could potentially get to, and now we're going to go over all the Stephen King books that I could potentially read. Although this one is going to be a definite because it's The Dead Zone, which of course is the 19th prompt, and it's worth 50 points, so I'm hoping, you know, my main goal for the readathon is actually for people to read my favorite Stephen King book. Hopefully a lot of y'all do. It's my all-time favorite Stephen King book, and I love it. I will definitely be reading it. And then I can quickly run through some possible options. I know I'm not going to read all of these Stephen King books, more than likely, but they're all definite possibilities. So one of them would be Revival. I haven't read this book in a very long time. I remember the very beginning and the very ending to this book. Very dark and nihilistic, but I don't remember everything that happens in the middle. So I'm definitely looking forward to reading this one. I think this is almost a definite I won't get to. Another one is The Outsider. Another one I haven't read since it came out. Very much looking forward to this. I know a couple of people are also going to be reading this, so it'll be fun to get their reaction to it. And another book, this one is on the maybe side. I don't know. It would be Finders Keepers, which I've read Mr. Mercedes earlier this year, and I have a dedicated review for that if anyone wants to go see it. And I don't love book 3, but book 2 is amazing. So if I could get to it and kind of finish off the part of the trilogy that I actually want to read, that would be fun. But no promises on that one. The next one I have is Cujo. Now, I love Cujo. I would probably put it in my top 20. It's kind of underrated. Like, not a lot of people would put it very high on their list, but I think it's just classic Stephen King horror. I love it. If I can get to it, that would be amazing. And then we have one that I'm like 99% sure I will get to, and that would be Dolores Claiborne. I will be buddy reading this with Stacy because Stacy's not a huge, well, she's not really a Stephen King fan, but this one I actually do think she would enjoy. It has a few things that I think she will enjoy about it, so hopefully I can kind of possibly convert her. Probably not, but I hope she likes this because it is one of my all-time favorite Stephen King books. Another one I could possibly get to is Gerald's Game. Again, all of these are maybes. It is definitely a very good Stephen King book. One of the darkest and one of the most unique because it really only has one main character who's handcuffed to a bed the entire book. And it's very good, very gripping. Like I said, if I can get to it, that would be great. A King book that I'm like 99% sure I will get to because it is very short and I do want to reread it would be Later. I also have a dedicated review for this. It's one of the earliest reviews I've ever done, so no promises if it's actually good or not. But it is one of my all-time favorite Stephen King books, and it'll be fun to jump back into it. And the last one I have, I might read it next month. I'm supposed to read it this month in September when I'm filming this, but I don't know if I don't know if I'll have time for it. But if I don't, I could possibly read it in October, and that would be Song of Susanna, which is Dark Tower book number 6. And like I said, I'm supposed to read it in September, but if I don't have enough time for it, I might just slide it into October. And whew, yeah, that's all of my potential reads for the Stephen King Readathon in the month of October. So, did I mention any Stephen King books that you guys are excited to read? Did I mention any other books that you guys are excited to read? What are you the most excited to read in the month of October for the Stephen King Readathon? Let me know all your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my YouTube channel and the Bookish Drummer Discord, where of course the Stephen King Readathon will take place. Sign up before tonight, because after October 1st, you can't sign up, because the teams will be set up. So go do it. Go do it. Also, I have my Patreon if anyone would like to support me financially, and I have my Amazon wishlist if anyone would like to buy me a book. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you guys so much for signing up for the Stephen King Readathon. It's going to be a blast. I'm filming this like a week before October, so I can't wait for October to finally come. So thank you guys so much for watching, and have a fantastic day.